Race for the Rwagnation League here in Zandvoort. I'm Ben Regan McConnell as always, and joining me is the lad himself, On Badger. How you doing?
I'm doing really well, yeah, excited to get this test race underway.
Good. I mean, it's 2020, you know? This is where all the fun and games happen. We've actually got a lot to be excited about when it comes to this game. You know, obviously we've got new tracks, we've got new car handling models, we've also got some new graphics which are available to us too. And we've also got a new feature which allows us spectators to use these keys. Oh, that's so good. Have you been shown how to use them all? You know, do you know how they all work?
I have heard your masterful dulcet tones squeal of excitement when you first found out. So yes, yeah. I am aware.
Good. Well, happy days. You're distorted for me slightly, but I'm gonna just take it as a my headset problem. So there are some new people in here. Obviously, remember this is a test race. This is open to pretty much anybody. A few various people in here. Most of the people you should actually recognize. We've actually got some old school veteran RNL drivers here. Vania has made a return. Obviously, he was a steward for the last 2 seasons. Was involved as a driver in the first season. Had a bit of studies in the second, so couldn't really take part too much. But he is back, heading in towards Season 5, is trying his best, he said, to get into the next season as a main driver.
Yeah, and I'm excited to see how well he'll do, because I know he didn't really enjoy the last game. I think a lot of people had the same thing, with the handling model just wasn't suited to them. So I'll be quite interested to see how well he can get himself up the grid.
Exactly. Well, the only downside is to this layout is for some reason when I hit shift to then go to press any of the other keys, quite often Steam pops up, which is rather annoying, but we'll work around that. Azia is here with us. He's trying to drive out on the medium tyres along with Mizzo, who's currently doing the exact same thing. Now the medium tyres, I'm not actually sure what the strategy is for Zandvoort, to be truthfully honest. It doesn't strike me as a track that would be too demanding when it comes to tyre wear, but you know, there are some areas where you think, well, that's going to be very degrading of the tyres, and a lot of hard braking zones as well. Anything can really happen to these tyres.
Yep, and speaking of anything being happening, it looks like Burrito Bandito is already off into the wall, effectively there, just at the end of Sector 1. So, or really beginning of Sector 1, but that's not ideal for him. So he's came back onto the track and he's now trying to. He's going to need to come back and get a new wing. That wing's destroyed, but Overspeed's here, just trying to get around the outside. Him looks like they're getting a little bit close, guys. It's qualifying. Come on. But yeah, that's oh, and there's a smash. Yeah, who's that in the back of them? Someone just hit the back of Burrito Bandito. Oh, this is not good. This is not a good start to this qualifying session for these guys.
No, it really isn't. But
and
yeah,
that's Burrito into the wall again.
Is he really having that many problems? Oh, he is right off there, isn't he? Where's he just teleported to? Or back onto the track? Vanny has improved there. He's like, oh, he spun again. He's really struggling. He's got wing damage on left-hand side. There's no elements on there. There's got missing end plate as well. Looks like he's having a bit of network issues to go with it as well. So there's massive dramas there. But Burrito Bandito is going to need to bring it back and hopefully go again. Overspeed, though, coming to the line. We've seen a 109.078 as the first time on the board. The fastest, time on the board. And from Overspeed, it's a 113.4.
So, also, I don't know if this was in the last game or not, but a nice cool feature. See if you're in the pit lane now, all the drivers' names are on the respective garages.
I have not. No, that was on there as well. Yeah, that was on there. Yeah, definitely.
Something I've never actually bothered noticing before.
It's like the temperature on the dash, isn't it? It's one of those sort of scenarios. Oh, there was very nearly a moment between Fraser and I believe that was Burrito Bandito as he's coming back into the pits. Very close together, but Fraser should be okay. He's currently trying to chuck in a hot lap. Now, one thing we actually haven't done so far yet is actually go on for an onboard with somebody doing an actual hot lap. So I want to keep up with Copy, who's currently ahead of Fraser. So we'll jump to Copy when we get to the start of the hot lap, and we'll actually give you a little track rundown. Oh, as Copy's decided he's going to go off-road, getting out of the way. Good heads-up driving there from him to do that. Fraser's still going. He has set purple Sector 2. Sector 1 was pretty quick. Is this going to be the new fastest lap? We'll see. Why is my camera frozen to his rear wing?
Lots of teething issues there.
It seems to be hard stuck with his rear wing.
Yep, there's a copy just coming through the Max Verstappen Stadium section effectively. That's going to be obviously not this year, but next year we should be seeing a lot of excitement there as copies coming round to start his hot lap.
Yeah, here we go then. So this is down the home straight. I want to go on board, but I can't because I want to get in rear view camera. Hard braking zone in towards turn 1. There's a long sweepy right-hander as you come charging up towards turn 2. Now this is a little left and then very quick right. You want to get down, slow down just a little bit, not too much, because you've got very hard braking zone for a long sweepy left-hander uphill, and then again now into a full throttle section. Very fun, this area of the circuit, especially if you are on a hot lap like this, because you can give it everything. A very quick hard right-hander. You want to keep the momentum carrying all the way through and again into another braking zone. Don't want to brake too much. You want to carry momentum again here through the double right-hander. This is where you have to slow down. Oh, that was a big smash. Who was that with?
Burrito Bandito once again.
Not good. Not good at all.
I'm not sure if it's his network or what, but yeah, that's he's been in the wars today. Completely spoiled Copy's lap there.
Yep.
I just want to go back to Vanya. Like that's been a great lap from him. You know, he's 1.2 clear of the field, and that's a good return to competitive racing.
Yeah, I mean, fair play to him. He's really given it the full beans, and he's always been a good driver. I think he's been, excuse me. I think he's still been driving even whilst we've been in the cooldown areas, but he is really showing what he's capable of.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see how he does in the race as well. Obviously, Zandvoort's a track that I guess no one here really has a lot of experience with, seeing as it's just new back to the calendar. So it'll be interesting to see how the drivers manage to cope with this new challenge.
I have to confirm that Burrito Bandito is having network issues, which does explain all the rubber banding that he's had for him. Mizzo's out on the hot lap right now. I've just seen in the purple Sector 1 as he's coming in towards Sector 2 now. This is where he's going to need to make sure the momentum is carried out. Sector 2 is actually a really short little sector. It's only consists of about 4 corners before you then come into the final sector. And even that's only got 4, but there's a lot more of a straight section, if you like. It's not entirely, but you know, you got the long sweepy right-hander for the final corner, which is massive when it comes to it. And for some reason, do you have the same issue? Are you still only getting the rear camera?
Nope, I'm fine. So it's probably you've got like your brake pedal or something depressed or something.
Ah, that's exactly what it was. Oh, and I can actually look all around the car now. No, look at that. That is fantastic. Default's improved. He's gone a 108.7. We're actually seeing some really fast times here. I mean, I can't even get anywhere near the 111s. These guys are chucking in 108s. They're phenomenal. So default up to P1 as it stands. Yalta P2. And only just ahead of Vanya, who's 2/10 back. So we'll see if anything could change. Mizzo, like I say, was going for a hot lap. I think he did invalidate in the end as it is 109.625, which is currently keeping him P4.
Yep, it's a good lap there from Mizzo. Obviously, an RNL vet as well, so he'll be looking for a good performance here.
I actually think when Vanya makes the return, because he's got to do the qualifier, but I actually have full confidence that he's going to be able to make it. I think he's going to be one of the top 10 that will make it into the actual season. He's got a lot of pace. When it comes to if he does make it in, where will he fit into all the remaining drivers that are still there from last season? That's the bit I'm unsure of. He is very quick and he is very consistent. I mean, many a time does he do 100% league races, but I'm curious to see how quick he can be.
You know, and it's one of these things with you know, with this new handling model, again, it could just really suit his driving style, and then he'll just have like a boost of performance as well. So, you know, you'll have his natural pace, and on top of that, it could just very suit his driving, and then it could get him an extra, you know, 3 or 4 positions up the grid.
Can indeed. Right, somebody at P15 has not yet put a time on, neither has Copy, and neither has Burrito Bandito, both of which had a massive incident as we saw earlier. Burrito Bandito has just left the session. I believe that is due to his network issues. Hopefully he can get them sorted in time for the race. Otherwise, it's going to be pretty awkward if you can't actually get to take part. We have had a spin. I believe that is Fraser. No? Yes, it was Fraser. My shift key wouldn't work.
And here comes Copy out on his outlap now, so hopefully he can get a good time in and really show what he can do around this track.
Yeah, Copy is actually somebody who's been very hit and miss. I mean, when it came to the end of 2018, he was a very fast driver. Coming into 2019, he carried that momentum and actually seemed to really just suddenly come to life. I don't know if he just learned the game faster than anybody else. Big spin there. Was that overspeed or was that?
Yep, yeah, overspeed there, just on a 360. He's nearly collected Vanya.
What a dodge.
He should have been completely stationary there as trying to rejoin the track as cars were coming, and he's still going to be getting in the way of this. Oh, some idiot as well. That was, yeah, overspeed kind of getting in the way of the fast laps there. That could be, that could warrant a look from the stewards, and he's now just trying to keep out the way of Max as Max goes on by. But that was a big moment there from overspeed, and completely ruined Vanier's lap.
Absolutely. I mean, speaking of the stewards will be paying attention to this. They are going to be stewarding as well. Penalties will be applied where is required, and BK is actually one of them today. So he's, as a driver, will actually have a good idea as to exactly what's going on here and should be able to assist the stewards even more so than normal. Fantastic. Puff Puff out there as well. Currently a 1:23.4. That's almost guaranteed to be a banker lap there. I think this is meant to be a hot lap, but doesn't look like he's going anywhere near fast enough. And he's got wing damage, so definitely not. He's coming in. Somebody chasing Mizzo. Mizzo further up the field, again trying to improve his already quick lap time. It's 109.6, has knocked him down to a P6 from other people getting faster. Yenab being one of them, along with some idiot, who's currently actually out there as well, trying to smash his lap time apart. In terms of the gap, it's a 2/10 gap between Vania and Samidia as Hardy has retired. That is I think that's an on-track mistake. Looks like Hardy has crashed, and off he goes.
Just looks like coming out of turn 3 there, he's binned it, so unfortunately there's no cars there for me to see what's happened, but now it's cleared, so no idea what happened to Hardy there, but a bit of a mistake out of turn 3 and just into the wall perhaps.
Indeed. Now Mizzo did improve. It is a 109.234. Has jumped some idiot, but it's not going to be enough just yet. Was especially with the fact that some idiot is coming down or has decided to back out of this lap, and into the pits he goes. We have 4 minutes remaining of the session, just over. There's still a chance for them to go out and really smash some times in, especially if you're overspeed. He's done it on the mediums. He needs to try and get up there in the 109s, on the softs at least. If he can break the 108s, that would really put him in a good stead going into this race.
There you go. Do you want to have the first F1 2020? Is it happening? Is this the moment? Is this the time?
Go on.
Is it? This is your line. This is the. What's your favourite time?
Do I do it? But
no.
I just feel like I've got to do it.
I think you've got to. I think you have to.
It's the time. It is that time. The calm before the storm. Majority of the drivers are in the pits right now, figuring out what their end game strategy is going to be. Are they going to go for their softs again, or like Overspeed, for example, are going to try again on the mediums? I doubt it. I think the softs are probably the right strategy here, and we'll see what you can chuck out.
And it looks like Max here is. Don't know if this is him gearing up for his go. Looks like it. So I think he's taking an extra lap on these tyres for an extra long one. Maybe he made a mistake. No, he's coming in for a new set of boots. So yeah, I think he must have made a mistake on that flyer, and he's now just decided that he'll replace it. So
yeah. Now Fraser is out currently on a hot lap. He is slightly faster than his previous, but I got a feeling his mistake was made in Sector 3, as he's done a 1:33.0, which is an incredibly slow time, almost guaranteed to be a banker as such. A purple Sector 2. Now we saw purple Sector 1 from him earlier. He's now chucked in a purple Sector 2. Is this going to be new pole time? Is this going to be a big contender coming into this Grand Prix? This time he's kept everything clean. There's no invalidations. There's no mistakes. Everything's purely okay. It's now wing wide open. His ERS is being melted away, and he comes to the line. He will go P7. It's a 109.652.
That's a bit interesting that he just seems to not be able to hook like all the sectors up in the one lap. Yeah, maybe I can shave another few tenths off that if he can run again, but right now he doesn't really have the, unless he's going on just use these tyres for one more lap after this, but he's not got time to get into the pits and back out, so we'll see if he can maybe shave a few tenths off that. But yeah, if you said he got I never saw him get the purple sector 1 on a different lap, but if you could hook that up at the same time as getting the purple sector 2, then you'd imagine he should be in the low 9s, you would think.
Well, see, the thing is, the impression I'm getting is I don't think his Sector 1 or Sector 2 are even slightly the issue. I think he's actually chucking really, really fast sectors in. It's his Sector 3 that just seems to be the worst part. I mean, he made mistakes earlier there. That's where he saw 130. He was only like 0.02 of a second faster on that lap than his previous best before, and that was the 130 point. You know, that just shows that the final sector is the area where he's struggling. And I get the impression, oh, mistake from Azia. Off towards the wall, wing damage, there's a Renault coming, that is Fraser. He will be coming into the pits, I imagine. I highly doubt he'll be going for another push, because it's just too late on in the session.
But now here comes Vanya onto the start his next lap, so hopefully he's hoping that Azir gets out the way, and yep, Azir's now in the pits, so Vanya now in that Mercedes, putting the foot down and showing us what he can do.
So that's both the Red Bulls out of qualifying now. They will not be able to improve. As you'll stay best of the rest as it stands for now. Hardy will be P13. Default is currently on pole time with a 108.760, and it's only just ahead of Yalta. But he could easily switch that up a little bit. And somebody else who's trying to really break that down a little bit is Vanya, P4 right now with a 109.078, only just behind Yenab. I'm literally talking thousandths of a second. It's that close. Fraser has retired and has also left the session, interestingly enough.
I'm actually on board with Vanya right now, and he's really hooking this lap up so far. Just a little bit off the apex there, but that's not going to cost him too much time. But here he comes, DRS open, and coming into sector 3, so far so good.
This is such an awkward series of corners here. Look how awkward he found it as well. It was not one that you want to brake as hard as you can and turn the car at the same time. Cars just hate that kind of corner, you know? You really need to slow the car down but still maintain momentum. Here we go then, to the line. How's Vanya done what he needed to? Is it going to be pole? It isn't. It is a P3 with a 108.961.
And he just ran out of VRS like a half a second before the line, and that might have cost him, you know, a half tenth or so. Probably didn't cost him a position. He was just a little bit out of reach there from Yalta, but that was a really good lap time there from Vanya.
Yeah, here comes Yenab then as well. He's going to be, oh, he's just invalidated. That is so heartbreaking to have done that good a lap all the way around, and then you come to the final corner. It would have been a low 109, maybe about the same 109 he did before.
Yeah, 109.3 there, so he would have been in 7th position.
Big sad for him. Copy, he's brought himself further up the field. He's now P7, as there isn't a Burrito Bandita who's in the way to stop him. So we'll see if that affects him coming into the race. As here comes a Ferrari, that is Puff Puff, who's going to be finishing, not improving. We have a Racing Point coming to the line as well. That is in fact default. Is he going to improve? He does improve. It is a 108.538, 3/10 now ahead of Yalta.
Yep, and I believe it's Yenab in the back here, just catching up rapidly to Max there, and Max just jumps onto the gravel to get out of the way, so good for Max there, and Yenab's on the flyer. But I mean, it says on my screen that he's actually crossed the his session's finished, but I mean the car looks like it's going rapid, and his name's not greyed out, so I'm going to imagine this lap counts.
Yep, we'll have to see. There we go. Oh, and we got Unti into the pits, and that's it, done and dusted. So qualifying is over. It's going to be default on pole position with a 108.538. He has really chucked in a very quick time there. That is unfathomable to me. I just can't figure out how anybody can be that quick on this circuit. Again, I can't even get in the 111s. I struggle to even get in that area, and these guys are chucking these ridiculous lap times in. That's phenomenal. Default then on pole position with Yalta 3/10 behind in P2. Vanya and Mizzo will be on the second row of the grid with Yenab and some idiot there in 5th and 6th. Now, they're teammates, if you remember, from RNL in Season 4. They're looking to do the same thing again in Season 5. We'll see how it goes, but they're doing it right here. covering off that third row is going to be beautiful for them. They can really work together and push themselves forward. Copy P7, Fraser P8, Yonti P9, and Max Thorn rounding out the top 10. Overspeed, who qualified on the mediums, will be best of the rest, with Azure in P12, Puff Puff in 13, Hardy in 14th, Brito in 15th place. So, I didn't do it to you in the qualifying, I'm going to be truthfully honest. I felt bad for you, a bit out of touch, you know, just getting back into the swing of things, brush off the cobwebs. What is your prediction for the 1, 2, 3 here at the end of this race?
You know, I think Default's shown a lot of pace. I think he's probably going to be able to take the win here. But I don't know. I'm going to back Vanya there for P2. I think he can be quite racy, and we'll see how he gets on. I would like to see it, and I'd like to hopefully have a nice close battle for P1 as well. But it might actually come down to some penalties. So, but yeah, I think for P3, let's throw in Yalta.
See, Yalta has got pace, and when he's already proved it in the qualifying, he's actually somebody you can rely on to chuck in these quick times. But his consistency is my problem. He's somebody who pushes himself just a little bit too far, gets himself warnings, penalties, and quite often finds himself with a bit of wing damage to boot. And that's just something that he needs to work on when it comes to the qualifiers, when it comes to, well, he doesn't actually have to do the qualifier, he's in the top 10, but he needs to make sure that when it comes into the start of the season, he has that all wrapped up. You know, this is the perfect time to be working on that, making sure that you are very quick but consistent to be able to then take wins or at least take some solid points positions. So I don't feel he's ready yet. I don't feel he's in that position right now where he's going to be able to do that. So I am actually not going to put Yalta in the top 3 at all. I think Default has very much got the pace to be race winner. I just think it's going to be down to Vanya. I think Vanya's going to be the one who's going to nail it, and somehow we've had a DQ'd Max Thorn.
What's happened there, I wonder?
Interesting, to say the least. I'm not sure how he's done that as such. Very interesting.
So the strategy there that just popped up looks like a 2-stop is on the cards, soft, medium, and otherwise 1 stop for soft, hard. So we'll see if that comes to fruition or not. But yeah, I think, to be honest, you might be right about Yalta, and if that's going to be the case, Mizzo's probably going to be on that podium. But I would like to see him. I would like to see Yalta, like, you know, fighting at the front and showing us what he can do.
Well, yeah, it would be fantastic to see him do that again. I mean, he used to do it in the past many times. He's blown me away with how quick he can be, and even down to his consistency. When he's on his game, he is really good when it comes to it. Just, I don't see his game very often. But it's now go time here in Zandvoort for the first time in the F1 2020. I'm looking forward to seeing this on a more regular basis. The lights are on. It's going to be Default leading us away in the charge up towards turn 1. And off we go, and he's got a drive-through, so has Puff Puff, and he's been disqualified for colliding with Overspeed as well. Big crash then between those, and the rest of the field is so far back as a result. A Copy has gotten himself into a big fight. There's a big spin as well. That's some idiot. He's just about caught it. Don't know how he managed to do that, but that was very well held from him. I don't think he's got damage at all. No, his wing looks to be pretty much intact. Vanya in P3, sitting behind Yalta, who's very cozy and is effectively race leader.
Yeah, I don't know if maybe that was a desync issue or something. That, I mean, two drivers immediately went at the same time, so that's a bit strange that would happen, unless there was an issue. So we'll need to keep an eye on that. But yeah, Yalta's sitting pretty in P1 effectively now, so that's interesting. And Overspeed's there's managed to take over Yenab. So yeah, that's been a good start for him.
Oh, we've already had a car spin. That is Hardy at the back. He's having issues, but he's bringing it back on, so he's not had any damage. He can still keep it going. Yes, Yenab and Overspeed having a big old scrap, but bear in mind that Overspeed's on these mediums. There's also a contact between him and Copy. There was a moment where Copy was forced onto the grass, and again he gets onto the curb, and this time Yonti, he's right here on the back of him. He's going to be looking for any sort of opportunity, either down the inside or around the outside. You can see predictive pit stop strategy there. Go on.
There's Max just binned it, and he's lost his wing, and he's done it just before the pit lane, so he is able to get in and get a replacement wing. But on that, the banking just coming around, he just spun out and straight into the wall.
Now, I have been told he has turned all assists off now, and this obviously is a no assists league going forward, so he should be getting used to this pretty quickly. And if he's having issues, then he's going to have to get that one fixed ASAP. Azia looks like he's had a little bit of a moment as well. He's causing the yellow flag in Sector 1. We have seen more battling going on between Yonti and Copy. They were so close to each other at one point, and they are still going at it again. This all favours overspeed. He's on the medium tyres, remember. He can absolutely go the distance on these mediums and then choose what strategy he wants to go on later. Does he just go to the hards if he wanted to, or does he carry on and maybe even do the one-stop to softs, dependent on the tyre wear? Now, I've not done enough race practice here to be able to figure out who can do what, where, and how. So we'll see what the actual plan is. It is a one-stop apparently. Softs to hards is what according to the pit stop strategy guide at the bottom. We'll see if that actually plays out later.
Yep, and for overspeed, I don't know if that means he'll still need to pit in and go for hards, or if he's going to, I mean, might be a big ask. The other strategy that was on offer was a two-stop, soft, medium, so it'd be a big ask if he could stretch that to a one-stop and just put on the one set of boots for softs, but he might be stuck into a medium-hard strategy.
We have a lock-up there from Samidia is actually causing him to have a bit of issues as he getting a 5-second time penalty as well for speeding in the pit lane. He's going to need to rein that in a little bit if he wants to be a bit further up the field later on at the end of this race. But 36 laps in total, and we're only 3 in. Strategies are going to make this extra spicy, I think, later.
Yep, and what Default could really use right now would be like a safety car, just to bring him back into play. As I say, it looked more like a desync issue than just two drivers deciding at the same time that they were going to switch and go for it. So that would bring him back into play. He has put obviously he's not been able to swap tyres. It was you're not allowed to do that when you're having to serve a drive through it. So he's still on the same soft strategy, but he's now, instead of first, he's way down in 9th.
Yeah, I mean, he's not out of this by any stretch of the imagination. He's still very much there. Points are very much still available to him. He can still actually recover this when it comes down to the strategy. It's, again, making sure that your pace is quick, you are consistent, don't make mistakes, don't lock up like you just did there, and just try your best to just push yourself forward, stay on the back of people, keep applying more and more pressure, and just see where you go later.
Speaking of applying pressure, Vanya's just staying within that 6-7 tenths of Yalta, just trying to stay there and keep reminding him he's there. But right now, just going through Sector 2, he's just dropping back a little bit. And Mizzo's just making sure he's staying right there next to him to, again, just apply that same amount of pressure to Vanya, see who makes mistakes and who cracks first.
I think we are going to see some soft to medium strategy here. I think the graphic at the bottom may be a little bit ambitious. I don't think we're going to be seeing any soft hards. I think, yes, 36 laps around the circuit might be a problem. I don't know how bad it is when it comes to these softs, because again, a time penalty there. I mean, he's keeping himself in that fight for race leader, but not with a penalty like that, he won't be. I think the softs will get degraded here.
What's that, sorry?
I think the softs will get pretty degraded here.
Yeah, I think that's probably a likely scenario. It's just whether the medium tyres hold up better. You can see a lot of lockups there going into turn 4, just on that left-hander with the banking. Just as that tyre gets unloaded, as all the weight shifts to the right-hand side, and it's a lot of lockups for pretty much everyone that's going through there right now. So that front left tyre will be getting a bit of a battering there, and and it looks like we've had another spin out from it's Hardy this time, and just on the banking of the final turn, about to get caught up by Burrito Bandito.
Yeah, somebody is actually right on the back of Overspeed as well. I think he's just trying to do his usual strategy of taking the soft. This is actually very much how somebody plays. When it says one stop, he's actually going for a big send here as well. He's made it work here on Overspeed, straight around the outside, and now he's got it all locked in. You've got the double racing points trying to keep with him for now. Default's going to look to try and pass him as quick as he possibly can on his teammate, and I think that's exactly what we're going to be seeing coming down this home straight. They both have DRS. Not a lot of ERS available to Overspeed. Default has the bigger toe. Is he going to go for a big yeet down the inside in towards turn 1? Yes, he is. That's a huge lunge down the front. He's only just about made it work. But what a move there from Default.
Yeah, he's obviously got the tyre advantage for the moment, but that was still an absolutely fantastic move from him.
It was just so well calculated. He managed to get his whole car ahead right as Overspeed then started to turn. It was perfectly executed there from default, and now he's up to P8, and he's still within DRS range of Samidia, who's actually also a contender still for a podium if you think about it. If he does his strategy, taking those softs that little bit further, flick him over to the mediums, he could actually come out on top by quite a margin. Now, default did play it quite smart with the fact that he did jump start. Yes, he jump started. Yes, he had to serve a drive-through, and yes, he's much further down than he wanted to be initially. But as soon as he realized he jump started, he bolted, tried to build as much of a gap as he could, so that when it came to saving that penalty, he would lose less time and be less impacted by his drop down the field. He's done a very good job of that. He's still in with the train here for P5, which is almost in the train there for P4.
Yep, it's the top three are just pulling away a little bit. Mizzo's penalty is only just now not going to affect him, so they've now built up a little bit of a gap to the chasing pack. But right now for default, that's actually it's not as bad as it could have been from having the jump start. So he's still on for a good Holly points today.
Yeah, default. I'm expecting big things from him. I think he's going to be able to recover this, and I actually want to see how he handles being, hit with something in such a negative fashion like this. With the likes of where you could get like a DRS failure, for example, a mechanical failure, or just something that doesn't go right in your race. Yes, it was a mistake, and yes, it affected him. As we lose Asia, I believe that is a
final turn.
Yeah, it is, but I think that's an actual crash.
Yep.
No, his car's still moving. Oh no! Oh, that's a big crash there. Hardy and Azia, they come together. Azia, who is in fact AI'd, was just in the way there for Hardy, and there was nowhere for him to go. And that ended up being a big smash between them. Big sad for them. Safety car's out.
Yep, that's this could actually work out really well for default here. He will slide it into the pits here just now, and he's at the front racing point now as well, so he will, if they double stack, he's not going to be affected by that as well, so that works out brilliantly for him. And as you can see, all the drivers there coming into the pits now, trying to get their change of tyres. Everyone looks like they're putting on the hards, which we kind of expected they would do, and yeah, that's worked out pretty well for default now, so he will now be nice and caught up with everyone in the pack and start making his way through.
Yeah, everything he needed to do has just been sorted for him. He doesn't have to worry about it now. He's just, okay, I'm now in this fight. All I have to do is manage the tyres and be on the same strategy as everybody ahead of me. And then life is good. I don't have to worry about anything else. Now, I know it says 0 laps there for Overspeed, but he is still on the same set of tyres that he started the race on. This is bad for him because he should have really have come in at the time of when the safety car came out. Yes, you were going to end up double stacking, but the benefit still stands that you will actually lose less time now because he's going to fall all the way down the order and be right behind default. So he's impacted. He might even lose out to Max here.
Yeah, he certainly will. Max came in 5 laps ago for those tyres. I imagine they should go at the end. They might be a little bit worse for wear come the final few laps, but I imagine they should still make it. Burrito Bandito, yeah, you could probably pit now and still come out in front of Burrito, so that's something he might want to consider, but it depends how long he's wanting to take these. If he's trying to go as far as he can and then put on the softs, if he's trying to do that strategy, then being under the safety car right now does kind of help his race a little bit, because it's allowing him to save tyre. But it looks like is he lining up to go on? Nope, he's staying out. So yep, it looks like he's going to try and stretch these and put softs on at the end and hope that he's just that much faster than the rest of the field. But that is such a gamble, to be able to try and build up 25 seconds worth of gap on those that are chasing you behind. It's a big risk, and I wouldn't be surprised if he's only going to be finishing in around 7th or 8th today.
And that's
it would be tough to do more. Yeah, it would be tough to do anything more.
Realistically, at this point of the race here, yes, it is a difficult place to overtake on this circuit, but it's not impossible. It's not Monaco level of difficult. It's more like a sort of Singapore level of difficult. There are opportunities for you to do it. You just got to find them, and you got to pray they also make a mistake as well. I mean, down the home straight, that's where life is good. We sort of default go for a big send on Overspeed earlier, so that's something else Overspeed has to worry about is these DRS zones. There are 2 of them. One of them going in towards... It's only a short one, the second one. So the home straight is the first. You got one in Sector 2 coming in towards Sector 3 in that awkward little chicane leading straight after it as well. As you'll see in just a second what we're coming up to. Yeah, I don't think Overspeed can play the the physical track position being the winner here. I don't think that will work out for him. I don't know how he's going to play this. I guess he's just going to try the medium softs and like you say, and just see if he can make those softs reel everybody in when they're on very worn hards. But it's going to need to be very quick pace, and safety cars in this lap. So Overspeed will get to dictate how we restart this. Yalta needs to make sure he doesn't get caught out because he's going to have a lot of quick drivers hunting him down.
Yep, he needs to play this very smart. He needs to make sure that by the time he gets going, he's built up a nice big gap. Everyone else behind him's fighting and trying to jostle for position, and that would allow him to just get that big gap, get out of the DRS zone, and then hopefully, come the next few laps, he'll be able to just start eking out a gap on those behind him, and that's what he's done. He's built the pack up beautifully here. Now it's got 3 wide into turn 1.
And Yalta's lost the rear. That's a big mistake there from him. Then he's actually lost a couple of places. Now lost 3. And there's more issues. There's more contact. And somebody has been hit really hard and big wing damage on left-hand side. He is out of the way. He's not out of the race. Although he may as well be. He's still alive. He will be able to go and get his wing replaced. But my word, what a crash that was.
Yep, and this has not worked out well for Overspeed either. Vanya is right on his gearbox.
Yeah, I mean, he's still holding the race lead position as it stands. I didn't expect it to be as quick as that, but that big mistake there from Yalta has cost him a hell of a lot of places. He's right the way down the order, and I think honestly it was purely down to his tyre temperature management on that safety car. He needed to make sure the temperatures were right. He didn't quite do so, it looks like, at least. I mean, right now his temperatures are only on 80 degrees, and that's after a bit of a spin going through, and even then he's still locking up, and you got Max Thorne, your teammate, right on the back of you. This is going to be very difficult for Yalta to recover now. 9/10 is the gap between him and Default ahead. And that could very easily fall away. Yes, there's no DRS for now. We have to wait until the end of the next lap before that gets activated. But he's still going to have 0 toe. And here comes Max looking for a send in towards turn 1. He's going to have to take the inside. He has. And that is a very surgical move initially. But Yalta's actually hurled it all the way around the outside. Very well defended there from Yalta. Oh, what an absolute drive that was.
That was pretty impressive there, but they just we lock up now, and Max again just trying to see if there's any way. Oh, a little bit squirrely on the throttle there. As soon as they put down that loud pedal, that rear end just started stepping out. So a little bit uneasy there for Max.
Oh, that was so close. He looked for the inside. He's lost the position as a result. It was a very ambitious move to try and pull it off there. But he looked for an inside line on Overspeed. Overspeed decided, nope, I'm not going to have any of that. And he held it beautifully, but Vanya had to dip, dive, and dodge out of the way just to ensure there was no contact between the two of them. And as a result, Mizzo is very much the person to take an opportunity when it comes up. And he snatched it up to P2 now.
Yep, and that's effectively going to be P1, unless Overspeed can pull out some incredible pace over the next few laps. But right now, it's he's not got long. DRS about to be activated, and he's effectively going to be pulling this train along. But this has actually worked out brilliant for Default. He's sitting here nice and pretty. He's not really got anything to worry about in terms of strategy or anything now. It's just a case of picking these drivers apart when he can, and the more they fight up the front, the better it is for him.
Oh no, the Toro Rosso and the Williams had a little bit of moment there. I thought there was contact between them. It might have been very mild, but that was a mistake there from Copy, which has allowed Yenab to be pretty much here, right on the gearbox now of Copy. He's trying to just hold it all down. He's trying to recover the mistakes he's made. He's still within DRS range of Vanya, so he's not really got too much to lose, but he still has a very quick AlphaTauri right on his backside, and he has to worry about that.
Oh, and Default's going for the move. He's just had to back up there. Yenab spun, and that's in the wall, unfortunately. I can't see how much damage he's got. It looks like a little bit of wing plate, the end plates there gone, but
yeah,
not too bad. But you probably want to come into the pits and get that replaced.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, this train has now gone quite the way back now. All the way down to P7 is how long it's going to be holding up. And I think now that DRS has been enabled, we might see some more moves fold in here, as here comes Yalta. Is much closer to the back of Default than Default is to the back of Copy. So there might be a send it down here, down the inside. He's decided against it. Very smart from there, from Yalta. You end up getting 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. That will be corner cutting and exceeding track limits. And yeah, this very strange chicane here that they've just gone through. I say chicane, it's like a very long distance chicane. It plays havoc when it comes to the braking zones. They are really struggling when it comes to stopping themselves from locking up.
Yeah, it's just you're kind of going over the crest there, and it just unloads the tyres a little bit, so it's very easy to just lock up as the car goes effectively light as it goes over the hill. So yeah, it's a lot of people struggling with it.
Yeah, Overspeed is doing a fantastic job of keeping everybody behind him. I still feel as though, even though he is doing this, I still feel as though this isn't going to favour him very well. Everybody's going to be taking these tyres to the end of the race. He's the only person who's not going to be doing so. He has done 13 laps on these medium tyres. He's around about now where he would need to go to hards if he was going to swap it all. And, well, I thought he was going to go into the pits. He decided against it. As Mizzo's coming in hot here. DRS and ERS activated. He's going to have to take the outside line in towards turn 1 as Overspeed's going to keep his car very much alongside of him, and he has. There was very nearly contact between them, but it looks like Mizzo has got the momentum to get round into P1. And Overspeed will fall the first time so far. Big lock up there as well to go with it. Vanny having to take a wide line to ensure he didn't contact him in any way. And Default right here, ready for copy. Is he going to try and send it here? This is a very ambitious move if he does try it. Somebody's got a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane as well, so this is disaster for him. He's already had contact, he's already had a lot of issues, and a penalty to be in his pocket as well. It's not good.
Yep, it's not working out really at all for him, but I'm just having a look here. It looks... Oh, I thought Default was going to make a move on copy there again, but it looks like the ERS management from Overspeed, like being out in the front there, he's absolutely drained all of his ERS, and Mizzo's now just still sitting pretty around 50-60%. So, yeah, Overspeed might actually have quite a task to stay with Mizzo now, even on those softer tyres. That's...
Yeah.
A bit worrying for him, so we'll have to see if he's going to... I mean, it looks like he's trying to stretch them. Right now, you would think he would probably come in for hards if that was on his mind, but he's potentially losing another position here as Vanya just goes round and he's outside there, and that's Vanya up in P2, back hunting down Mizzo. It's a big lock up from all three, the top three there, all in at the same turn. It's just that, again, as they're going into that left-hander, that it seems that everyone in the field effectively is locking up.
Yeah, it seems to be a real pain for them. They're really struggling in that area, especially on these hard tyres. They've not got the best of grip at the best of times, and that's ultimately what is causing them some issues. So it's kind of a very clear sort of hint towards them that you don't really want to be on these tyres. They're not the slowest tyres by any stretch of the imagination, but they're not the best, especially when it comes to these hard braking zones. So Default is there still along with Copy. Yalta's actually managed to break away from Max quite a considerable amount. And yeah, just go back to what you were saying earlier, the ERS usage from these drivers, they're going to be struggling. The main reason for struggling is breaking bad habits. This is a game now where the handling has changed, the ERS management has changed quite dramatically. You never use it as much as you used to in 2019. You have to just use it more for defending and overtaking. And Copy's just ran wide on that final corner, did pick himself up a 3-second time penalty. He is pushing hard to try and get past Overspeed as quick as he can, because he can still see P1 and 2 in his sights, and he knows that Overspeed is going to start falling away unless he can get a move on. As Fanny's made a mistake there going into that chicane. Keep calling it a chicane. It's not really a chicane, is it? I mean, it's a right-hander followed by a left-hander, but I don't know, it's a very strange series of corners.
Yeah, it is strange, and as I say, that crest is just unloads the tyre a little bit. Basically everyone's locking up there or like making small mistakes, and that will wear on the tyre over the course of a race, and it's the people who will be able to maintain their tyre wear and the tyre grip will in the final few laps be able to just go for that extra bit of attack and try and get those extra few positions, as everyone else is going to have to be a little bit tentative going around the track.
Yeah, for sure. Now, Default's in a strange scenario for him. He's got to watch his mirrors as well as look at the car ahead of him. He is close enough to the back of Copy to potentially go for a send it, especially with the fact that he's burning all of this ERS, and Copy, who's actually done a very good job of maintaining and saving his. No opportunity down the inside. Yalta's going to have a little look, see if he can find anything as well. Still nothing for either of them. So they're going to be staying as they are for now. But again, this is a track that's very difficult to overtake in quite a lot of the areas. He just needs to try and look for the little golden spots and just slip it down the inside maybe.
And the thing with the ERS in this year's game is that you do not get the option to turn it off. You know, so you can use all your overtake mode, but once you turn that off, if you hit the next braking zone and charge a little bit of the battery, the next time you're on the loud pedal, it starts draining your ERS again, because the mode is always active. You can't just be like, nope, I am completely out, I need to turn it all the way off for this series of corners where someone can't overtake me. It's always going to be getting used, so trying to save it back up again is another challenge that these drivers have to take, as it looks like default there just attempted to move on copy, but just had to pull out of that. It was a half-hearted move, made more by a mistake from copy than a real effort by default, but one that he nearly got the most out of. But that's now just opened up default to Yalta. Yalta's now coming alongside. He's now just ecking his nose in front and makes it in there for turn one. So that's Yalta up the P5.
Yeah, he was looking for the switch back there, it just did not work out for him. But look at Vanya, he's really reeled in Mizzo there. There was a moment where it was 2 tenths between them, but no changes other than that. They are staying where they are for now. He's still close, but that gap has broken out quite drastically now between Overspeed and Vanya, 1.4 seconds. So those that are behind Overspeed, they've been struggling to pass him. They are going to now really see the mistake of their ways as Vanya's looking for the inside. That was a very opportunistic move. It didn't work out. He did back out. He did not have contact. And Mizzo will stay race leader for now.
Yep, and that's just invited Overspeed to close that gap a little bit, you know, as the two ahead were tussling. But Vanya is very close here, but Mizzo's got a lot of these ERS left, so I'm presuming on the straight he's going to absolutely floor it, and I think he might be able to maintain it for this lap. But if Vanya can keep this pressure on him and keep making Mizzo use that overtake in defence, Mizzo's not actually even activating overtake. This is interesting, but it's worked. You know, he's managed to maintain position and maintain a lot of ERS. So this is actually working out really well for Mizzo.
Oh, look how close this battle's going on as well. Copy and Overspeed, they've had a little bit of contact. There was a bit of a wobble there from Copy, and Yalta's here as well, trying to find his way in. And this again, big contact. Copy is off, a massive crash. Off goes the front left wheel, and Copy is out of this Grand Prix. I would not be surprised. Well, we've got a virtual. We have got a virtual. I thought we was going to see a full safety car. Now, those at the back, Yenab could look to pit here. Maybe even some idiot could chuck a fresh set of boots on. Even Yonti.
Overspeed needs to pit here as well. Like, if he can get to the pit by the time before this VOC finishes, he's locked out a lot. But it's just, he's still in Sector 2, you know, and these VSCs don't last too long, and there we go, he's missed the chance, so...
Yeah, Max going to drive through penalty for speeding under the safety car as well. That has not helped him at all. And the VSC is ended before we get to the pit lane for these guys running for P1 onwards. So that has actually not worked out well for them at all. And Overspeed, yeah, like you say, he's going to have to pit soon. But I think he's trying to take the mediums to a point where he can go onto the softs, which means we're looking at least another 7 laps. Here comes Default then, looking to pass Overspeed. It's going to be a very quick and simple overtake, unless Overspeed goes for another send it down the inside. He's decided against it, and Overspeed will fall to P4.
Yep, and I mean, if Overspeed does manage to do the one stop onto the softs, I'll be very impressed. But you know, it might be something that he has practiced, so it'll be something to keep an eye out for. But Mizzo's managed to just get that gap to about 1 second as well now, just after the restart. So Vanya will be wanting to try and close that up again. But Default, you know, after having that drive-through penalty, he's managed to make it all the way back up to 3rd. So that's a massive recovery drive for him.
Yeah, and there is a AI there of Brito Bandito having a bit of issues now. They don't ghost at the moment for whatever reason, so they are having to actually dodge the car physically on the circuit. Now, Overspeed has actually fallen 1.2 seconds away from his teammate ahead of him, and this is bad news for Yalta. He's been wanting to fight for this podium fight since he actually finished qualifying, and now he wants to try and get back into it. Big mistake in the first lap. And then on the restart has caused him to fall away, and he's trying now to use the ERS, just blitz on past Overspeed. There's no way for Overspeed to even try and defend this. He knows now that his tyres are done for. He just has to keep going round lap after lap, trying to avoid any further mistakes. and just try and keep the tyre wear to a minimum so he can go to the softs later and then finish this race. Maybe even recover some positions. P5 right now. He's going to be around about P6 when he finishes. Yeah, now, is he crashed or is he going to... Oh, he's had an issue. Yeah, look at that front left wing. Very much in bits, and along with some polystyrene boards at the back as well. Yep.
And just to touch on Yalta, I mean, like, he effectively was in front of default, so he would have been P3 up until that copy crash. He just, when that crash happened, he seemed to, like, slam on the brakes so he didn't, you know, get caught up in it, and that was when default managed to go up his inside and, you know, avoid the crash and get up next to Overspeed, and then obviously overtake his teammate. So Yalta knows that P3, you know, was on the cards for him. He was there for the battle, and he just kind of got caught up in the instant with copy. So he'll be wanting to try and make his way back onto that podium.
Yonti is looking to attack some idiot. This is a battle for P6. Now they are 32.8 seconds away from this battle for P5, if you want to call it a battle. This is more like a battle for time management for P5 as it stands. Obviously one pit stop left to go for Overspeed, but the rest of the pack are such a far way back. They are screaming for a safety car to bring them back into this, and it can still happen. Anything can happen. We've seen Yenab having issues where he's been off into the wall and luckily survived for his case. You know, safety car for these guys is exactly what would be. It would bring them right back into this, and you may even see the likes of Samidia, the likes of Yonti, who have had a fair few issues, recover, maybe even get themselves onto a podium. They're on the medium compound. It is faster than the hards. It just wears that a little bit more.
Yep. But I mean, it looks to be that there might be some connection issues between Samidia and Yonti. They seem to be kind of rubber banding a little bit, but keep an eye on that just in case there's any issues. But yeah, they would absolutely love a safety car right now, you know. I mean, granted, everyone in front of them can stop for new tyres and still get out in front of them, but I would at least bring them back into the fight, you know. That would be something that they would be really eager for. And right now, I mean, Overspeed's not going to even lose a position if he was to come in and swap tyres. So, but as you say, he's just trying to eke out these medium tyres so that he can get on the soft and then hopefully catch back up to those in front. But realistically, Overspeed's now just, again, without a safety car, he's effectively fighting for P5, which he's currently maintaining. So he could come in for hard tyres just now and be fine, or he can eke this out and try and get the softs, but he's not going to get much benefit because he's not going to be able to attack anyone in front of him.
Well, this is it, and even if he does get onto the softs, he's still got to recover not only the gap, but also the pit stop that he's had as well, which he would have lost. He would have gained, sorry, if he'd have been in the pit when the safety car came in. Double stacking with the default would have been the perfect strategy for him. That would have absolutely kept him in this fight, potentially even been in for a podium
your
fight.
Network's just dropped.
Yeah, still good.
Okay, maybe me.
No frames dropped. Bitrate still high. Everybody seems to be still alive for me in session. If my network drops, I can hear you, but you can't hear me. That's the sad part.
Yeah, the voice went away, so like
I
missed everything that you'd said. So I was like, oh, maybe there's a problem. It could just be Discord being Discord.
Potentially. I did have an issue yesterday, so it might be an issue again today. But we do still have another 12 laps, 13 if you include the remainder of the one that they are on right now. And Vanya is doing a very good job of holding onto the back of Mizzo. I don't think I've seen penalties on either of these drivers yet, so there's still, you know, a lot to play for. And if the fact that Default's had issues, Yalta's definitely had issues, Overspeed in the same boat as well, this is pretty much a two-horse race for the race win.
Yep, that's I mean, Default can still get back into it, you know, there's still time, but right now, I think, did Mizzle get a penalty at the start? I think he got 3 seconds, so Vanya effectively is P1. I don't think I've seen any penalties for Vanya, so Mizzle will need to build up a little bit of a gap if he does have that penalty. I'm not too sure if it was definitely him or not, but I think early on in the race he did, so yeah, this is looking good for Vanya as he's now just attempting to make that move and again stick, and that was a big dive, but you know, it was clean and it was fair, and he's now made his way up into P1.
What a move from Vanya. He's really making a name for himself again. I mean, he was, like you say, a veteran in the RNL days for Season 1. And he's doing it again here, even as we are in the test races for Season 5. Vanya, well done to you to make that race lead move there. Now Mizzo is just going to sit behind him. Now the bit that is concerning here for Vanya is the ERS levels. He hasn't got very much to use. He used so much to try and get that overtake done, and he got it. But at what cost? Mizzo can sit behind him, can manage Vanya quite well here, especially when it comes to the ERS levels, as Default's had an issue and lost a position there to Yalta.
Yep, and you can just see that Mizzo is very, very selective in how he uses his overtake button there. He used it as he was in the lower gears and immediately turned it off again. And then you can see he's activated there in gear 4 and then turned it off basically when he was in gear 5. So he's only squirting the overtake just to get himself that little bit of extra momentum, and then he's turning it off. But right now he's kept it open, he's kept the DRS, and now he's going for this move, and he's going to make it long before they've gone. Oh, a little bit of a touch though as Vanya tried to move back across into the middle of the track there, and that's I don't see any damage on the wheel, on the wing there, but that was a close one, and Mizzo managed to take the lead again for this race. But Vanya's squaring up that corner well and going to get a good run there. Can he stick it alongside? Oh, it's going to be tight. It's going to be tight. Oh, and he does it. But like Mizzo's coming back with just a little bit extra straight line speed. This is a fantastic battle between these two.
I mean, their elbows are out, but it's friendly elbows to an extent. They're giving each other little nudges, but they're still keeping it on the track. They're not having any damage applied to either driver, but it is slowing them up quite drastically. Yalta has now recovered and got into a position where he's in DRS of Vanya, and this now opens it to a 4-way battle for the race win. Yes, there's penalties to be applied, but if they keep rubbing elbows like this, and again, a little bit of a nudge there from the Mercedes into the back of the AlphaTauri, I think Mizzo's in trouble here. Vanya is absolutely looking for it on the home straight.
Yep, it might be, but as you say, this is just inviting Default and Yalta in, and if that battle extends to the 3 or the 4 of them, they're going to always be slowing up, and so there's literally anyone can win this race right now. As Vanya's not having to take the outside there and just managed to keep his nose in front of Mizzo. That's excellent driving.
This is so good to watch. I thought Mizzo was going to send it again. He had a look down the inside, but Vanya has covered it off at least enough to make sure that he stays up in P1. And the gap is decent. It's 3/10 right now, considering where they were a couple of corners ago. And, Yalta's still here. Default hanging in here too. He's not had the greatest of starts. Neither did Yalta, for that matter. But they're still fighting for podium positions. This is fantastic.
Yep, and these were the 4 drivers that we all name dropped at the start, and right now they're showing that they're a class above the rest of the field.
This is going to keep on going until the end of the Grand Prix. I can feel it. My only worry is the penalty situation. Full course safety car. This is very much now pit stops going to light up here. You're going to see mediums getting chucked on for these drivers. Overspeed has gone to the softs. He was looking to take these to the end anyway, and now he can actually do that with ease because of the fact the safety car's out. He can just nurse it around quite comfortably, and all of that gap that he was going to lose has just been recovered. Default coming in, Yalta's decided against it.
I mean, to be honest, all of these drivers should come in, because right now, if they don't, they are going to be sitting ducks for overspeed. And so Yalta is taking a very bold decision to stay on these hard tyres and go for the track position. But now, effectively, everyone behind him who are basically who he's fighting for this race win have far, far softer tyres, far newer tyres. He's going to have to defend like a madman to keep this win.
Yeah, he really is. So Default is here in P4, but it is realistically net P3 if you think about it. Yalta on those hards so far in on the race is really going to be in such a bad place. Yonti speeding in the pit lane. That's not what we see from him on a usual basis. He's actually normally the captain consistency, or at least that's why I like to call him. Down in P6, this does also bring Yonti and Samidia back into this fight, and even Yenab to an extent. He should be able to recover and get himself right up there, but the fact that he's chosen not to pit, or at least he's chosen not to pit just yet, means that he's not going to have the tyre pace needed in order to stay with them. So yes, he might actually close in and be good for it.
He's coming into the pits now.
Good, that's what we need.
He just hadn't made it to the pit straight yet, so he's quite far back, but he's putting the soft tyre on as well, and he'll be going for it. But yeah, this is actually, looks like he might be serving a penalty as well, so but it shouldn't really matter. He should hopefully be able to catch up to the pack anyway. But yeah, this is a tasty fight now for the win of this race. Yalta is going to have to defend out of his box. He's going to have to fight for everything that he's got right now to get this working.
He's in. This is a mistake.
What's up?
He's in now. This is a mistake. He's decided that rather than doing it when the safety car first came out, he's going to do it afterwards, which is horrific because even Overspeed is going to pass him now, and that was never going to happen if he'd have done it when the safety car first came out. Even if he was going to double stop, which he couldn't have done because Max Thorne was the reason the safety car came out, who I'm told has had a brake pedal failure. This is a massive strategical mistake here from Yalta. He should have come in at the same time as everybody else. He would have been right there fighting. Yes, he still can, but now he's got another car that he didn't have to worry about before. He now has to worry about. This a big mistake from him, but this is going to be even better for the likes of somebody who I consistently rely on when it comes to their natural pace, but also their strategy. 7 laps to go. We're probably going to be on 6 laps to go when the safety car does decide to come in. I want to see him get himself up there and start the fight. Maybe even get involved for this podium battle. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, it'll be a tough ask. The top 3 have shown incredible pace today. So I do expect them to kind of run and hide. But Yalta and Overspeed will probably have like a big crazy battle. As the top 3, I think, will just eke out that extra gap over those behind. But it's... To be honest, if I was Yalta and I didn't pit on the first lap, I would have committed to the hard strategy. It would have been difficult, but you had already cost yourself so much, and now he's now effectively hoping that carnage happens in front of him to get these positions back, and it'll be difficult. I mean, we'll see how well he does, but yeah, he definitely cost himself a little bit by not pitting when the rest of the field did. So, an interesting call, but he's, I suppose, corrected it now. I just don't know if it would have been worth trialling to see if he could have maintained position on the hard tyres, but it just depends how much of the delta difference there is between the tyre compounds. I mean, I don't know what the gap is around this circuit, so if it's over a second, I mean, there's a lot of places around here that it's just really difficult to overtake, so you would expect that the delta needs to be over a second to actually make moves stick on that straight. So it just really depends how comfortable he feels coming out the last corner and how well he can, keep his ERS management and everything up. So, but we'll see. I mean, as we say, the race should be about to restart from the safety car, so we'll see how he gets on.
I want to point this out. Yanab has had 6 pit stops this race. Every single time he's been into the pits, he's been caught speeding in the pit lane and had a massive penalty applied every single time. He's served it for the remaining ones. He still has an additional 5 to go on top of that, as well as the corner cutting issues he's been having from before. So I don't even know what they're doing here. Somebody and Yonti and Yenab all pitted at the same time just then, on the lap where you think the safety car is going to be coming in. Like, why would you go now? There you go. Safety car is coming in. We can confirm that now. And Vanya, who is our current race leader, is now the one who's going to dictate exactly how this goes down. They are bunching up quite nicely. Mizzo for a second. Oh, there was a little bit of contact there between them. No penalty applied just yet. Now, the game is a little bit sensitive when it comes to contact on the safety car. Even the slightest of nudges will give you a penalty. And Vanya, who realizes how important this restart is, has started the weave. He started the... There you go. There's one of the penalties. All right, here we go then. Vanya, are you going to go now, or are you going to save it until... He's going to just do it by surprise, isn't he? Ready? And go. There it is. Vanya restarts now. Default gets caught out a little bit. Mizzo getting caught out even more so. Default might even go for a move here towards turn 1. He's got the ERS in overtake, and so has Mizzo to try and protect himself. A big send here from Default into the side of Mizzo. That was always going to happen, and he has been rotated. Look at the Mercedes goes into him. More contact between them, and that is damage for them. Yellow flag for some idiot. Penalty for some idiot for ignoring yellow flag. And yes, it was only a yellow flag. And Vanya is still race leader. Mizzo is still here and actually still within DRS range, but he's not actually that close enough to be able to even think about going for an overtake just yet, whereas Yalta is. He's looking for overspeed. He can't find a gap, but the gap has formed ahead of him. It's a 1.2 second gap. How does Yalta get through this? It's not like that. He gets himself a penalty, and now it's just falling downhill for him.
Yep, and this is what I was saying about Yalta's plan now, is basically to have Carnage at the front so that he could maybe get a few extra positions. And he's had that, he's managed to get an extra position, but, you know, right now he's stuck because you need that delta difference to get in front of someone, so he's going to need to just bide his time until the home straight and hope that he can get him there. But it's now with that 3-second penalty as well and all the pack bunched up, it's a tough ask for him to finish on the podium today. But Mizzo and Vanya are doing an incredible job, just building up that gap at the front, and they've gone.
Yeah, they've packed their bags
over that second.
They don't care about no lockdown. They've packed their bags, they've bought their tickets, and they are peacing out of here. Off they go. 1.1 second gap between Vanya and Mizzo. It's just under that between Mizzo and Overspeed, so Overspeed has recovered quite nicely here. I get the suspicion that he has dumped his ERS. Yeah, look, 20% remaining. That is a lot of ERS burnt away there, just to close in a little bit.
Yep, and Vanya has also dumped a lot, so he's in 40 as is Mizzo. So they did, you know, effectively dump 60% to build up that gap, but you know, they've done it in such a way that they've still maintained enough ERS that the casual use that it uses throughout the lap is not hindering them too much. So they've still got the use of the overtake button, whereas, you know, Overspeed's not really got that. He's burned through so much that he's running low throughout the lap, and it's more like harvest mode for him than use. So you'll see that Yalta now will be flying up to the back of him, and you'll probably see that next lap Yalta will be able to overtake him.
Yeah, especially with the fact that DRS has just been now re-enabled again, so this is good for everybody who's currently looking to go for a pass. It's even better for the likes of Mizzo, because he can actually use this to bring himself that little bit closer to Vanya and maybe go for that last lap dive for a potential P1. You know, a nice solid overtake in towards the race leader on the final corner even. That would be even more tremendous. But yeah, I'm not going to get too excited just yet. We're still yet to see what happens in the remaining 4 laps if you include the one that they're currently still going for. Mizzo has brought it down to about 7.5 tenths, but that DRS he's got now will help bring it in even closer. And Yalta, who's just been stuck behind this racing point for quite a while now, is going to need to get a move on. I'm looking for the home straight, as Overspeed's DRS is currently stuck at around about 17-18%. He can't get it much higher than that, even after the braking zone. Yalta is feeling very comfortable, very confident to potentially go for a send it here. No DRS for Overspeed, just as it's just over that 1 second margin, means he knows, look, I've got to go to the inside, I've got to defend somehow. Overtake mode being utilized here. This is going to be a big moment between them. You know they're going to go side by side in towards turn 1. They are still here. Overspeed's got his nose in just about, but I think, with a little bit of a clip there, Yalta has made it up to P3, and he's only just outside that 1 second margin there for Mizzo. He's actually brought it in. He's got inside of it. He might actually be able to fight for a bigger position than P3.
Yep, and this is what I was saying earlier with Yalta. You know, it been adding on that pressure to Overspeed, and with Overspeed's ERS levels the way that they were, there was no chance that he'd be able to defend that against DRS and the overtake mode. But this has worked out pretty well for Yalta. I mean, as I say, we believe Mizzo has a 3 second time penalty as well, so Yalta is effectively sitting P2 right now. Oh no, Yalta also got a 3 second penalty, didn't he?
I think Yalta's had a couple actually. I think he's he's in big trouble when it comes to penalties. He might actually still lose out to Overspeed even though he's physically past him. You know, it's now down to how he manages this and whether or not Overspeed can keep his nose clean and not get any further contact, not get himself spun out in any way, and not get any on-track penalties. I don't know the full penalty rundown. I could be completely wrong for all I know. Overspeed may have penalties as well. Yalta does have the fastest lap in his pocket though, so that is a point regardless. As Samidia is going for a move here on Overspeed, this is going to help Yalta out massively. If he's going to be fighting with Samidia, Overspeed should and will drop back now as a result.
Yep, and honestly I think Default will probably end up setting the fastest lap of the race overall. We'll see if he's got the space for it, but he certainly has the he's got the space for it. We'll see if he's got the pace. You know, he's effectively in clean air the entire way through, so but he's sitting there on such low ERS now. He's at 10%, so maybe not. Maybe Yalta can manage to pull out that extra point for fastest lap. But the fight that I'm really interested in now is Mizzo just hunting down Vanya, 6 tenths now.
He's not just hunting down, is he? He's also got to watch out behind him, because look how close Yalta is to him as well. You know, anybody here makes a mistake, will be an inverse of what happened to Vanya. It'll be Mizzo who's going to be the one losing out. So here we go then. To start the final lap, it's going to be Vanya charging down the home straight. You got Yalta right here on the back of him as well. He's going to be very much quicker than him. Look at him going for the move round the outside here in towards turn 1. This is very crucial stuff because he needs it. Vanya's trying to keep his nose very much in there, and he has done exactly that. And Yalta's right here, ready to attack the second anybody steps a little bit too wide. But Mizzo in P1. Vanya now falls to P2. It's down to Yalta to make things that extra bit spicy.
Yep, it's just going to be really difficult for him in this part of the track. There's just no way to overtake here, but if he can stay within that range, he can mount an attack later in the lap.
Yenab on overspeed as well. Yenab's trying to go around the outside. This is going to be so difficult to pull off. He's stuck out there, and Samidia's come on the inside as well. They've not quite got that maneuver done. Overspeed runs Yenab out wide, and the back end steps out, and he's lost it. He's spanned the car. That is going to be him right out of the way now. And we're going to go back up to our race leader because Mizzo, who's currently holding it down, Yalta almost goes into the back of Vanya, and Mizzo's done just enough, I think, to hold this position down. He should get the race win with only one, maybe 2 corners to go. I don't think anybody can change this except for Yalta. Is it going to be a last-ditch charge? Look at the overtake being fully utilized. He might go for it. He's going to have to take it down the inside. It's a drag race towards the start line. Who's going to get it? It's going to be so close. Oh, it's going to be Vanya taking the win here due to less penalties. Mizzo gets P2 and Yalta gets the 3rd step of the podium.
You know, I was on board there with Vanya and just looking to the right and just seeing Yalta slowly inch and inch towards until the line. And it was so close. It was so close to having that overtake. But obviously then the penalties come into play. And that, as we say, Vanya was just much cleaner than the rest of those around him.
How close was that ending? They were literally neck and neck coming up to the line. I mean, we knew the penalties were going to be a factor for Yalta, but that still didn't change the fact it became extra spicy. Vanya getting that race win for just keeping everything so clean and consistent. Mizzo getting P2 despite how solid his race was. He just couldn't quite get the win due to those penalties. Yalta P3, very well deserved for him. We'll get the rest of the rundown in just a second. But what a race that was. Overspeed will get P4. Actually, Yalta also gets the fastest lap as well, so points going towards him. Overspeed P4, Some Idiot P5, Yonti P6, Default P7, Yenab P8, Burrito Bandito P9, and your DNFers then. There was a lot of them. Max Thorn, Copy, Hardy, Azia, Fraser, and Puff Puff, who could not finish the race. So finally, the last question to ask you, sir, is who is your driver of the day?
To be honest, I'm going to give it to Overspeed. He managed to get, you know, a low. It started 11th. Managed to get his way up through the field, and to be honest, he had a 5-second time penalty, which was given to him under the safety car. That would usually be removed. That wasn't much contact. I saw it as it happened. It was a tiny, tiny touch. So I think Overspeed deserves driver of the day today. He's done a fantastic race.
Yep, I'm actually with you. I think that's exactly who I would have voted for. It was a very well-driven experience from Overspeed, considering I think there was a couple of strategy mistakes in there, but overall he managed to recover it quite nicely. You know, with the safety car coming out, and then he just kept it together. I mean, you got to give him credit. When he was on those mediums, he held his position down perfectly at the beginning of the race. At the front of the race, and it just held it down. You know, nobody could pass it for quite a while. I think it was a good 3-4 laps before anybody even then went for it. And in the end, it ended up, yes, he fell down a little bit, but all those position gains. Well, there we go. That's the end of the test race. Fantastic stuff.